microphones are on mute, and so that you can we minimize background noise. If you have any question during the workshop, feel free to use the chat box or raise your hand, and I will indicate to the facilitator that you have a question. And please kindly note as well that there is going to be a feedback survey in the chat box. So please, I would like to request you to use to fill in the feedback survey so that we may have feedback for the facilitators for the workshop. So I guess we would probably wait for a few minutes so that everybody can join, and Mr. Class may begin the session at 9:05. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Atlas Mwangani, and I'll be facilitating the second session for the Microsoft Word training. Welcome back to the second session. Thank you for joining us today. Today will actually be plus minus the same as last week, but then in much more detail. So can you just quickly confirm if you can see my screen? Okay, can you see my screen? Let me see here.
Yes, we can see your screen, Mr. Class.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, so we can begin today's session by going through the table of content and the page numberings, right? So today's session, what we're going to start with is actually looking at the dedication and the abstract. So this was one of the questions that was asked by one of the students that requested that can I please show them how they should go about when they're doing the dissertation and they want to change the dedication and the abstract page numbering into the into Roman numerals, and then the rest of the dissertation to be in the basic numerals. So in order for you to create sorry about that, to create a what's this? Okay, to create that specific numerals, right? So you first have to start by making sure that the headings you actually you have your styles used, right? So what we're going to do in this instance is that we're going to define or to create a new heading, right? So we just simply just double click on the styles there, and then you click on create a style, right? So we do know that we already do have those default headings, but then in this instance we want to create a specific heading that is going to be specifically for the dedication and the abstract, right? So that it also appears to be part of the table of content. So what we're going to do is that we're going to rename that specific style, right? I'm going to rename it to probably pre-table of content. So that is going to be the name of the style, right? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify the style to suit my own specifications. So what I'm going to do in this, when you get this specific dialog box, right? So you're just going to choose your font, right? And then we'll just use Times New Roman for demonstration purposes. And then the font size that we're going to make use of, we can make use of 14, right? And then that text should also be bolded. And then we're going to choose the font color. So when choosing the font color, you just click on the drop-down arrow over there, and then you can look for the desired color that you want. So for now, we're just going to use black, right? And then what you're going to also note from these options that are here. So this is where you're going to choose whether you want your text to be center aligned, or you want it to be right aligned, or you want it to be justified, right? So in this instance, we're just going to make use of the left align. And then when you're done with the settings, you can then click on OK, right? And then you'll see that you will now have your heading, right? So this is the new heading. And then what you're supposed to then do in this instance is that you're now supposed to go to your references tab, right? So when you go to the references tab, you're going to add text, right? So when you click on that, the add text, and then you click on level 1, because this is going to be your what? Your main heading. So the moment you see that triangle over there, just know that you have already you already have a level that is associated to that specific heading, right? And then when you open your navigation pane, you will then see that you've got the dedication over there, right? So that is going to be the first step. And then what we're now going to do is that we're going to go to move on to the abstract again. And then you're also going to do the same thing for the abstract. So the style is already set. So we just have to select that specific style. And then we're going to add the what? The text, right? So the text is actually, that text is to add the levels. So as you can see that as much as I have added the style, I do not have it. It is not rather appearing on the navigation pane. That means that it is not associated with any level. So I'm linking it to this level 1, and then it is going to appear in the navigation pane. Are we guys together? Okay, are we guys still together there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you then. All right, so we now have the dedication as the headings, and then we also have your abstract, right? And then we're going to go back to the home tab, and then we are now going to set the headings, right? So as you can see that in my first chapter, I've got chapter 1 over there, and then on the second page, I've got chapter 2, and then I also have chapter 3 in the last page, right? So what we are now going to do is that we are going to put those chapter 1s, chapter 2, and chapter 3, we're also going to put them in what? In headings, so that they can also appear in the table of content, right? So in this instance, what I'm going to do, I'm going to to manage the headings, right? So when I'm managing the headings, I'm going to make it easier for me to create a multi-level list, right? So what we're going to then do is to click on the styles dialog box launcher, and then you just simply click on this specific option, which says manage styles, right? So what we're going to then go do here, we're then going to go to the recommend option, and then we're going to select the headings that we want, right? So we've got heading 1, which is going to be the main heading, and then we've got heading 2, which is going to be the subheading. So we're then going to click on show, right? And then we're also maybe going to make use of heading 3, and then you're also going to click on show. So this is going to be your main heading, the subheading, and the subsection, right? So it's when we think of it in numerical terms, it's going to be your number 1, and then your number 1.1, and then your number 1.1.1, right? And then when you're done with that, you're just simply going to click on OK, right? So you are done managing the styles, and then you're just simply going to click on close. And then what we are now going to do is that we are going to edit, or we're going to format the headings, right? So what we're then going to do is that you're just simply going to click, right click on heading 1. Okay, sorry about that. And then you click on modify. So when modifying it, modifying the heading, you're just simply tailoring it to suit your requirements, right? So we're just simply going to make use of Times New Romans, and then we'll also make use of the font size 14, and then the text should be bolded, and then the color should be black, right? And then you're just simply going to click on OK, right? So that is going to be your heading 1. And then you're also going to do the same thing for your heading number 2, modify, Times New Roman, that is the font name, and then the font size is going to be 14, should also be bold, and then it should also be black, right? And then you click on OK. Then you can also do the same thing for heading number 3, Times New Roman, and then the font size is going to be 14, the text should be bold, and then the color should be black. Then you just simply click on OK. So we have now modified the heading styles, right? And then now what we're going to do is that we are now going to define, or we're going to set a multi-level list, right? So the multi-level list is going to assist us when we're going to be putting these chapters in numerical order, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to simply click on that multi-level list, and then you click on define new multi-level list, and then it's going to give you something like this, right? So under normal circumstances, when you're writing on a page, you will have your, let's say you'll have your question 1, right? And then you'll have under question 1, you'll have your question 1.1, and then you'll also have your question 1.1.1 if there is a follow-up question, right? So in this instance, we're going to also do plus minus the same thing, right? But in this instance, it's just chapters. So when you're defining a new multi-level list, right? So in this instance, we're just simply going to click on that one. So this is for heading number 1, right? So what we wanted to do, we don't want it to have a 1, but we wanted to have a chapter in front, right? So you're going to put in your chapter, and then you're going to leave that number 1, right? And then you're just simply going to change the font to Times New Roman. Should be bold, and then we'll also make the font size 14. The font color, we'll also choose black, and then we'll just simply click on OK, right? So this is just a preview of how this is going to look, right? So also make sure that you click on this more option so that you can link this specific multi-level list, or this multi-level list to heading number 1, right? So this is how heading number 1 is going to be. And then you're also going to do the same thing. Okay, just quickly before that, you're going to also set this position. The text indent is going to be 0. And then follow the number with preferably a space, right? So that these settings are going to be linked to heading number 1. And then for heading number 2, you're also going to do the very same thing, right? So you're just simply going to remove that A. And then what you're going to do, where you're going to, where it says include level number from, you're going to click level 1. So that is going to be your number 1, right? And then you're going to put in a full stop. And then where it says number style for this level, which you're going to use the numerical 1, right? And then it's going to give you your 1.1. And then you'll probably set the font again to Times New Roman, bold. Then it should be 14. And then the font color should be black. Click on OK. And then we're also going to the text indent, we're just simply going to put it on 0. Then alignment, we can also put it on 0 there. And then it should be followed by a space. And then when you're done with that, don't forget to link these settings to heading number 2, right? That is going to be your 1.1. And then you can also do the same thing for your heading number 3. So in this instance, you're going to click on include level 1, put your full stop, and then include your level 2 again, full stop. And then you also include the number style. So that is going to be your 1.1.1, right? And then you're going to change the font to Times New Roman again. Then it should be bold, and then the font size is going to be 14 again. Then you click on OK. Oh, okay, so I forgot to set the font color. So by default, it's going to be black, but it's just advisable to also choose or select the desired font color. And then the indenting, we're going to put it on 0 again. And then it is also going to be aligned on 0. Right? Then the number should be followed by a space. And then last thing, link it to heading number 3. Right? So as you can see now in the preview, we've got the chapter 1, which is going to be heading 1. And then you have 1.1, and then we've got your 1.1.1. Then you can simply click on OK, right? And then this is what's going to happen, right? So if you already have written your chapter 1, it's going to give you the new one, right? And then in front of just after the last one, you can remove that one, and then you leave chapter 1, right? And then you go to your introduction. This one is going to be your 1.1, right? Then you're going to select heading number 2. The background, heading number 2. And then the problem statement is also going to make use of heading number 2, right? So we're also going to apply the same process to all of these remaining chapters. So chapter 2, going to put in that, okay, and then you're going to delete that one. Then the introduction is going to be your 2.1. And then you've got that process over there, which is going to be your 2.2, right? And then we're going to go to your chapter 3. We do the same thing. So now let's say you didn't have chapter 3 written in this instance, right? So when you click on chapter, right, it is going to simply follow the what? The order. It will give you your chapter 3, and then you'll have your 3.1. And then you'll have your 3.2. So that is how you're going to define your new multi-level list, right? Are we guys together? Okay, are we guys together? Okay, even if it's just one person that can type in the chat boxes. Oh, okay, thank you, ma'am. All right, so as you can also see that in the navigation pane, right, you also have your chapter 1, that is the main chapter, and then you've got your subsection, which is your subheading, right, which is your introduction, and then they follow each other just like that. So if it happens that you choose a style, right, and then it does not appear in the headings, so that means that you have to make sure you have to go back again and redo that specific process again, right? So when you're making use of the navigation pane, there's no need for you to be scrolling to that specific chapter that you want to work on. All you just have to do, you go to the navigation pane, and then you just simply click on that chapter, and then it will automatically take you there. So that is the purpose of the navigation pane, right? Now, going back to the table of content, right? Okay, so just before I go to the table of contents, can I just quickly show you guys how to do the numbering, right? So what we're going to do is that you're going to open your header or your footer, or you can just go to the insert tab, right? So when going to the insert tab, you're going to simply go to your header and footer group, and then you click on the bottom page. So over here, these are the options that you can make use of, right? So depending on what you're required to do, but for this instance, we're just simply going to make use of plain number 2, right? Just simply going to click on that. So as we can see that it gives me page number 6. Okay, so that is the last page. So let's go to the top. Okay, so on this specific page, right? So this one is going to be for the table of content, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove this one, right? And make it start on the next page. So what we're going to do in that instance is that you're going to just double click on that number, and then you right click on it, and then you go to format page numbers, right? And then what you're going to do, you're then going to click on start at. So you're going to tell Microsoft that you shouldn't start numbering from page number 1, but you should start from 0, right? And then you can just simply click on OK. So this is what it's going to do. So that table of content page is not going to be number 1, but it's going to be page number 0. And then the dedication page is going to be page number 1. And then the abstract is going to be your page number 2, right? And so forth. So what we're then going to do, we are going to remove this 0 because it's not supposed to be there. So what I'm going to do, I'm then going to click on different first page, and then it is going to remove the 0 over there. And then when I go to my dedication page, it is now going to start from page number 1. So in this instance, right, you wouldn't want to probably start numbering from page number 1, but you wanted to number from, or rather using Roman figures. So in order for it to use Roman figures, what you're going to then do in this instance is that you're just going to double click on that number 1 again, right? Right click on it. Oh, okay. Double click on the number 1, right click on it, and then click on format page numbers, right? And then you're going to change the number format from that numerals to your Roman figures. And then it's obviously going to start numbering from number 1, right? And then you simply click on OK. And then this is how it's going to simply look like, right? So you'll have your number 1 over there. And then when you go here, you'll have your number 2, right? So the reason why I still have that number 2 is because of, okay, all right, so I'm now going to be required to change the number 2, right? I'm going to do the same thing again, right click, and then format page numbering, change it to numerals, and then it should continue from the previous section. So that previous section is this section over here. Okay, the one that uses that is currently using the Roman numbering, right? And then you just simply click on OK, and then it's going to give you your number 2, right? And then you then go to your chapter 1, right? So this chapter 1 should now make use of your normal figures, right? So we're then going to select that number, page number 3, right click on it, and then format page numbering. In this instance, it should not continue from the previous section, right? It should start again from number 1. And then you simply click on OK. And then it's going to start from number 1, and then it's going to be your number 2, and then it's going to be your number 3, right? So when we're going now to the table of contents, right? Okay. Okay. So when you're done, you just simply close that. Okay, let's go to the table of content page. Right, so we've got the table of content page over here, right? So what's then going to happen? You're then going to go to your references tab, right? And then in the references tab, remember that at this point, you're no longer typing the table of content in saying dedication. Okay, and then you put in your full stops. And then you say Roman figure 1, right? And then you're not going to say abstract. Then full stop. And then Roman figure 2. No. So we're no longer going to be making use of this specific approach, right? So because we made use of those headings, right? So those headings are going to make us, or they're going to enable us to have an automatic table of content, right? So what we're then going to do is that you go to your references tab, and then you click on table of contents, right? And then you can choose from those specific options, whichever one is going to suit your liking, right? So we'll just make use of the first option. So we're going to click on this one, and then this is how it's going to look like. So as you can see that I've got the dedication, it is numbered in numerical figures. Then the abstract is also numbered in numerical figures, right? And then we've got chapter 1, starts from page number 1. And then we've got chapter 2, which starts from page number 2. And then we've got chapter 3, which is going to start on page number 3, and so forth. Are we guys together?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So is there anyone that's lost in this process?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thanks, and you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for.
Okay. Hello?
You may speak, ma'am. I think maybe her mic is probably not audible enough.
Oh, okay, okay, no problem then.
Yes.
Okay then.
Okay,
All right.
so you may carry on, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, so that is practically how you actually going to do your table of contents and changing the dedication and the abstracts, right? So if you also don't prefer having the term content only, you can just also punch in your table of contents, and then you change the heading, right? Probably Times New Roman should be bold, and then you change that to black, and then probably place it in the middle, and then yeah, then that's how you're going to do your table of contents, right? So we're no longer going to be doing it the traditional way, the way we used to do it back then in high school. So we're going to make use of this specific method. please make sure that you use this one, right? Okay, and then moving on. Okay, let's just. Okay, so we'll have. Okay, that's okay. So this page, because it's not supposed to be here, what I'm just simply going to do, just going to backspace, and then it's going to delete the page. And all right, so we can just leave it there. Okay, and then moving on to the formatting of your chapters, right? So what I also touched on in the previous week, right, is that your document should be justified. So your paragraphs should be justified, right? So the purpose of justifying the paragraph is to make it easier, or to make it, to give it a smooth look on the edges. So at this current moment, we have this end is going to finish there. Is going to, let's say it's going to end there on 15. And then that matching goes over to 17, right? So when you justify the text, right? So I just clicked Control and hold and pressed on A. And then when you justify the text, this is how the text is simply going to look like, right? So it's going to give it a smooth finishing on the edges. So it's going to be much more appealing and it's going to look neat, right? So it is advisable to just justify your text so that it gives it a proper feeling and a good looking, good looking. I can just simply call it that, right? Okay, so now let's go back to your insert tab, right? So in the insert tab, we have your shapes. Okay, so the shapes, I touched on them in the previous session. And then how to insert the pictures, I also touched on it in the previous session. So with regards to the picture, I'll just try to emphasize this one again, right? So under normal circumstances, right? So the picture will be plus minus this big when you insert the picture, right? So in order for you not to distort the image, right? Please do not make use of these handles, right? So the bottom and the up edges, please, the up handles, please don't make use of them. Even the ones on the sides, please do not make use of them. So when you're going to be resizing your picture or your image, right? Please make use of these, or the handles that are on the corner, so that the image does not lose its quality. So as you can see that as I'm reducing the size, it is not losing the quality, right? So the dimensions are still going to remain the same. However, the moment I'm going to make use of this option, right? So you can see that the building is going to be a little bit taller or enlarged to be tall and so forth. And then when I make use of the one on the left to the right, it's also going to be a bit wider and all of that, right? So that distorts the quality of the picture, right? So if you did that, what you can just simply do is go to your picture format tab. So that tab over there, right? And then you just simply click on reset and resize picture, right? And then from there, you can resize your picture to the way that you want it to be, right? So by making use of these corner handles, so you just double click, hold it, drag it in, is going to, when you drag it in, it's going to reduce the size. And then when you drag it out, it is simply going to increase the size. So yeah, so that is with it with regards to the pictures. And then what I initially wanted to show you is your text box, right? So sometimes you can probably be typing something and then you just want to, you decide that at a later stage that you want to put it as a standalone, right? Or to make it stand out. So you can make use of the text box, right? So how you're going to make use of the text box is that you're just simply going to place your cursor. Let's say I want to insert the text box over there. So I'm just going to place my cursor just in front of that word. And then I click on insert text box. And then I just need a simple text box, right? So it's going to move, it's going to automatically put it there. And then what I'm simply going to do, I'm just going to double click on it. So those are the left clicks, right? And then I'm going to simply drag it to the left, right? Then I'm going to put it there. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, so I'm just simply going to put it there. And then that is how, then the text that I just want to put in, I can just simply type it in and say introduction to applied information systems. Okay, so this is just for demonstration purposes, right? Okay, let's say enlarge it. Okay, and then you just leave it like that, right? So depending on your preference, you'll put in the text that you want to put in, and then it'll be there. And then, yeah. So that is how you're going to make use of your text box, right? So this text box, you can also caption it, right? So when captioning the text box, you just have to click on the shape, and then you just simply right click, and then you click on insert caption, right? And then you can just put in the name, right? So it will be figure 1.1. So it is automatically going to generate that, right? Then we can just simply say text box. Then you just simply click on OK. So it is going to be just below the text box. Then you're going to get that, right? So now if you get this specific option, let me say layout, right? So what you're going to do is that this background is not supposed to be here, right? Because it's a subsection. So it's supposed to be on the towards the margin. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my cursor or my insertion point after the full stop, and then I click on enter. Then it's going to return that 1.2 to the margin, right? So that is how I'm going to make use of that text box and how I'm going to simply return that to the sorry about that, to the towards the margin. And then I also wanted to show you how to make use of the drop cap, right? So for when making use of the drop cap, it is simply going to take this first word, right? So it's going to take this first word, which is the T, and it's going to simply enlarge it, right? So what you're simply going to do, it's going to look like this, right? So you place the insertion point just before the T, click on drop cap, and then you just simply click on either dropped or in the margin, whichever way that you prefer it to be, and then you just simply click on that. Then that is how it's going to look like, right? So that is going to be your drop cap, and that is going to be your what? Your paragraph or your chapter, right? So that is how you're going to make use of that. And if you later on probably decide that you want to explain a certain process, or you want to explain, or is there a word, a question?
Yeah, yes. Mr. Klaas,
Yes, yes, sir.
there is a question here in the chat box.
Okay.
So the question is, what if it's a picture you want to be in that place where the text box is?
Okay, so is the question in a sense that I don't want to insert what's this, a text box, I just want to put a picture, right?
Not quite sure. I think it's Mr. Aluwafemi. I think that was his question in the chat box. So I'm not sure what he was actually referring to in.
Okay, can they just specify if they want to replace the text box with the picture?
Okay,
So,
can I speak?
yes, 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 please.
Okay, for example, if you have a figure like that, if you want to, you put the figure, you labeled it figure 1.1, and you have a figure that you want to put inside that area and have the text around it like that. That's what I'm trying to ask. When you put that text box, the typing of whatever you wanted to describe was was shifted to the right. So what if you wanted to put a picture and put that text around it like that and label it like figure 1.1 like you did like that? How would you do that?
Oh, okay. All right. So we can just make use of this picture here, ne? Okay, so in that instance, right? So let's say you want to put the picture, let's say there. Okay. So you also have these, right? So those options, okay, let me just quickly check something. Okay, just need to check. So you'll have to make use of the specific way, ne? So you'll have your picture, right? And then you go to the picture format tab, which is that option over there. And then where it says wrapping and all of that, you'll also click on that. And then you do the same thing for the picture, right? Then you caption it. Okay, let's say it's figure 2. And then we'll have it like that. Yeah, so it's going to be something like that. Is it fine? Are you answered?
Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
all right.
Okay,
Sure.
Mr. Clark, there's another question in the chat box as well.
Okay.
She said, may you please recap on the first step of creating the table of content?
To the first step of creating the table of content.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So when creating the table of content, ne? Okay, can I just go through everything and then I'll get back to that one towards the end because it's actually going to make me redo the entire thing.
Okay, not a problem.
Yeah, so I'll just get back to that one towards the end of the session.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I was in the insert tab. So what I was also pointing on is when you want to do, or when you later decide that you want to do something like this, right? So in this specific example, I made use of shapes, right? So I made use of shapes and then I simply grouped the shapes, right? So in this instance, they're not grouped. So if you want to group the shapes, what you're simply going to do is that you're going to select the first shape, press and hold Control, select the second shape, select the third shape, and then make sure that the active tab is this shape format tab, right? And then when you're done, you just simply click on group. Okay, so they're already grouped, right? So when I click on ungroup, they're going to be like that, right? And then when grouping them, I'm just simply going to click on that group option, and then I simply click on group, and then it's going to be one thing, right? But now let's say you don't want to make use of this one, but you want to make use of another way, right? Using graphics and all of those. So I'm just simply going to put that option in the third chapter because this one doesn't have any images and all of that. So insert, and then I say smart art, right? So in the smart art, I'm going to choose whether it is going to be a process or it's going to be a cycle or it's going to be a list and so forth, right? So if I want to probably explain a process, right? So I can either choose one of the following, right? So let's just say I make use of, sorry about that, I make use of the continuous block process, right? Just click on the continuous block process, click on OK, and then it's going to give me these, this picture. And then you see where it says text, right? I am going to then put in the text that I want or the process that I want to simply lay out, right? So let's say, okay, so I'll have the introduction, right? And then here I will have the, so I have the body, and then in the last option, let's say I have the conclusion. Right? Okay. So now, this is the process that I want, yeah, to probably have overlaid, right? But now let's say I decide that what I'm going to do is that it is going to require me to have this conclusion probably on the right, or be the beginning or the first, right? So I'm just simply going to click on demote, right? Or sort of about that, not demote. So when demoting that, so this is actually what I wanted to explain, the demote, right? So when I'm going to demote this specific point, it is going to be a sub point of this one, right? Of the body. So how is it going to work? So I'll have the conclusion selected, and then I just simply click on demote, right? So it is going to be the body, which is going to be the main heading, and then this is going to be the subheading or the discussion, right? So when that is how the demote works. And then if I later on decide that I want to make it a standalone heading or a standalone point, right? I'm going to make use of the promote option, and then it is going to be as a standalone option, right? And then if I later on decide that I want to add another point to this, you can just simply click on add bullet. You cannot add bullet. Okay, you go there, then you click on enter, and then you add, let's say, your elaboration. Right? And then let's say you want to add something under that elaboration, you can just simply click on add bullet. And then you can add that this is your explanation of the process and so forth, right? Okay, and then you can also choose the different smart art styles that you can make use of there. Let's say you make use of that one. And then when you're done with your process, right, you can also caption this, right? Just click on insert caption, and then it will be your figure 3.1, right? Okay, let's say change the numbering, not use a hyphen, but use a full stop. Then I click on OK. Then you click on OK, and then that will be my figure 3.1. So that is how you're going to make use of your smart art to either explain a process or to explain or to outline a cycle or to list whatever that it is that you feel like you need to list, right? Are we guys together on that one?
Mr. Class, there's a question as well in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
So it says, when justifying the paragraphs, are we supposed to justify the figures, images as well, not center them?
Okay, so it depends on you as an individual on what you would like to do. So in that instance, you'd probably make use of your own discretion there. Okay, all right, and then moving on. Okay, so when inserting charts, right? Okay, because at the end, I want to also create a table and insert a table of figures and all of that. Okay, let's just say I insert the chart on another page, right? So I'll just insert section break or page break. Okay, page break. Then I say my charts. Okay, so when inserting the chart, you just have to go to the insert tab, you click on the chart, and then let's say you want to make use of a pie chart, you click on that pie chart. Then we'll just make use of this specific one for demonstration purposes. And then it'll probably give you your data, right? So this data is the one that you can edit so that you have your figures, right? So let's say these were the sales that were made in the in the month. So let's say I'll start with January. And then I'll say February. And I'll say March. Then I'll say April. No? Right. Then I'm just simply going to close that. And then from here, I'm just simply going to modify this to suit my my requirements, right? So I'm just also going to add the data labels, right? So when adding the data labels, you can also choose your desired option, or your desired option when it comes to this. I prefer that one, the data callout, right? Because it's much more easy to see. And then you can also change your chart styles to suit your, can we remove that one there? Right, so the chart styles are simply going to enhance the style of the chart. So it can either choose any one of those ones there, right? So, but I'll just leave it like this. And then with this filter, right? So it's just simply going to enable you to hide or not to show a specific series, right? So let's click on that one. And then let's say I decide that I want to show all the other months and not to show the January month. I can just simply click on January. So it'll deselect that, right? And then I'm going to simply click on apply, and then it will remove the January month and it will show me the February, the March, and the April, right? And then when I'm done with everything, if I'm satisfied with my chart, I can then simply also insert another caption, right? And then if you decide to probably change this, right? And let's say you don't want it to call it or to name it or caption it as figure, right? You can also click on new label, and then you can also add maybe, let's say, charts, right? As the label. And then you can just simply click on OK. Right? Then it will be your chart one. So at the end, right? So the end result of this is to also have a table of figures just underneath your table of content, right? So what I'm then going to do, I'm then going to say table of figures, and then go to the references tab again, and then click on insert table of figures, right? Okay, so the caption is going to be, okay, we're going to start with the figures first, right? And then you simply click on OK, and then it will give me your figures, right? And then let's say we have your table of charts probably. Right, so this one is going to give you a direction as to where the charts are found, right? Then you go to your insert table of figures, and then you change the caption label. Okay, it's charts, right? And then you simply click on OK, and then it's going to show you the page of where the chart is located, right? So it is also the same thing that applies to the table of figures, right? So if you're going to have your table of figures, I'm just going to go through this one again, right? So let's say you have your table of figures. Let's say we have it over here. Right? So you're first going to insert your table. Right? Then, okay, we can just do it like this, right? And then you've got, let's say the data there. Okay, we'll have data 1. Then we'll have data 2. Right? And then we're also going to insert a caption, right? So this caption is going to be a bit different. Why? Because it's not going to be a figure something, it is going to be a table, right? So what you're going to do, if it does not automatically detect it, you just click on the drop-down arrow for the label, and then you just simply click on table, right? And then you see that the numbering it's going to make use of Roman numbers, right? So if you don't want it to make use of Roman numbers, you can just simply click on numbering, and then you click on the format, and then you can simply click on the specific numbering that you want. Then if you wanted to include the chapter number, click on that, then make it use a full stop, and then you simply click on OK, right? Then you click on OK, and then it will have your table 2.1. And then in your table of content page, just after that, or you can, let's say we put it here. Then we have your table of tables, right? References, insert table of figures. So it's going to be for the tables, and then you simply click on OK. So that is how you're going to do your table of figures, your table of tables, and your table of charts, right? Then, yeah. Are we guys still together? Okay.
Yes, we may proceed.
Oh, okay. No problem. All right. And then let's move on to your in-text citation, right? So for your in-text citation, that is probably when that is when you're going to be giving credit to the person that wrote that specific piece. Né? So in this example over here, so this is just a reuse of the previous session's document. I'm just formatting it in with according to how I structured the lesson for today, right? So in this example, right, this person has been cited. However, we did not make use of this specific option, right? So in this instance, it is not going to detect it, right? It's going to be raw because I manually typed it out. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove that one, right? And then you go to your insert citations, and then I'm going to add another source, right? So when adding a new source, let's say we probably got that from a book, right? So what we're going to simply do is that we're going to write the author's name. Let's say we'll have Clark, né? And then for the year, okay, so the title of the book, we can say okay, introduction. The introduction to probably analysis, right? And then we'll have the year, say we'll have 2010. Then the city, we can have Cape Town. And then the publisher, we can maybe think of a publishing company. Okay, we can maybe, let's say, make use of Oxford, right? Okay, that's the closest example. And then, as you can see that this, right, is incomplete because we still need the author's what? Surname, right? So this is just only the first name, right? So I just wanted to show you something. So when you have that, you can just simply click on OK, right? That is how it's going to look like. Say you want to add the first name, right, of the author, and you have already cited them. So what you just have to do is that you select that specific citation, you click on that drop-down arrow, and then you can simply click on edit source or edit citation. But in this instance, we will click on edit citation. Okay, not citation, edit source, right? Because I now want to add everything, right? So it will click on edit, and then let's say the person as Clark over there. And then the first name, let's say it's Jones. Yeah, we can make use of John, right? And then you can just simply click on add, right? So that is going to be, okay, let's delete this one, right? So we'll just have this one, then we'll say okay, right? So it's going to simply update that. So when you click on okay, okay, that is the new one. Okay, edit source. Oh, okay, sorry about that. So in this instance, this is when you probably have two authors of one book, right? We are then going to edit, and then you're going to add the other one, right? So let's say we have surname, okay, we have Du Toit, right? And then the first name, we can have it as Martha, right? Then you can simply click on add, and then we click on OK, right? So it is going to be the name, Du Toit and Martha, right? And then you simply click on OK, and then okay, I want to update both of them, and then that is how it's going to look like. So Clark and Du Toit are the ones that published that specific piece that I came across, and then that was published in 2010. Are we guys together? So that is how you're going to make use of your in-text citation.
There's no question, there's no hand up, so we may proceed.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, and then also moving on to your okay, end notes. Ne? Okay, let me not leave that one out. Okay, so for your end notes, right? So when you insert an end note, all you have to do is to place your cursor. Sorry about that. Is to place your cursor just in at the end of that word, and then you can simply click on insert footnote, right? So it will have that number over there. So it is going to indicate that specific what? Footnote, right? So there at the end, you'll just also add the information that you want to add, right? So that is going to be for the first one. And then let's say you also add another footnote, let's say here, right? Okay. Just after synthesis, click on insert footnote again. Then you'll say footnote, let's say 2, right? And then that's it. So that is how your document is going to look like when you have your footnote. So the footnote is going to go to the end of the page, and then you also have the end note, right? So the difference between the end note and the footnote is that the end note is going to go to the end of the document, right? So if you later on decide that you want to delete a footnote or an end note, right? So what you're simply going to do is that you're just going to navigate to that specific end note or footnote, right? So let's go to this one that is over here, right? And then you just place your cursor after that subscripted number 2, select it, then you delete it, right? Then when you go to the end, there is no footnote, right? So that is how you add and how you delete your footnote and your end note. Okay, are we guys still together? Okay, I
I
think
have a question, please.
Yes.
Okay, on this page that you're showing us now,
Yes.
where this reference page, and you see this place where on top of that citation and bibliography, where they put this style thing that is written upper in front. What exactly can you use that tab to do?
Okay, which page?
On this page that you're showing us, that
Chapter
is
2.
referenced now. You see where the citation and bibliography
Oh,
is?
this one, yeah.
Yes, that one. What can this be used to do?
Oh, this references tab.
Yes, this style, this place where they put style, that is written upper in front of it.
Wait. Okay.
In this, you see this where they put bibliography.
Yeah.
Manage sources, style. Yeah, this particular style part.
Oh,
what can one use it for?
Okay, so this one actually depends on the type of referencing, right? If, let's say, you're supposed to use your MLA referencing, right? So you can just simply change that this APA. So for now, I currently use the APA, right? So when you want to use your MLA or your Harvard and all of that, so you just click on that drop-down arrow, and then they're going to be listed here. So at this moment, I only have these two references. So when you click on the MLA, it is then going to change how the citation is, right? So you see that in the APA, I had the last name, and then I also had the year, right? So with this MLA, I'm only going to have the last names.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is, those are the different types of styles, because there's Harvard, there's IEEE, or IIEE, if I'm not mistaken, and all of that.
Okay, I want to know whether there is, because you know there is a UJ version of this Harvard referencing that we use. Is it possible to install that or insert that as part of this styling?
No, it's not going to be part of the styling. Ne? For that one, I think you'll have to use the UJ one, the strict one. Ne?
So how does one make use of the UJ one here?
Okay, so for the UJ one, because I currently have these two ones, ne? So if I were to say I'm going to demonstrate it to you, I'll be deceiving you. Ne? So because I don't want to give you false information. So for that one, I just have to probably have it here with me so that I know exactly how to do that one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, sharp.
Okay, Mr. Class, there is another question in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Can you please just summarize the difference between the footnote and an endnote?
Okay,
yeah.
So the difference between a footnote and an endnote, is that with your footnote, so you can practically use it to do your citations, to probably add on notes. Yeah. So the difference between the two is that the footnote goes to the end of the page. Let's say I am currently on page number 1, right? So this is a footnote that I inserted here. So it is only going to go to the end of page number 1. And then if I insert an end note, right? So let's say I insert an end note on this critical here. I either want to insert a citation or whatever the case might be. So when I click on insert end note, it is going to go to the end of the document. So it is not going to the end of the page, but it is going to the end of the document. And then it will have whatever the information that you have. So for now, I'll just have end note, then I'll just have critical. Yeah. Yeah. So that is the difference. Okay. Chichi, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know. I always see these footnotes, endnotes on papers that I read, but I'm not sure now. Am I allowed to use them for my thesis? Or I don't know. I just need that clarification. Am I allowed to use them or not for me?
Okay, so in that instance, I can't really advise. Please consult with your supervisor. Okay. All right. So also moving on to let's find and replace. Yeah, before I leave that one out. So when you're going to be making use of the find and replace, so that one is found in the home tab. and then in the editing section. So let's say this is the stage whereby you're almost done with your research or you are done with your dissertation, and then you just proofreading it and you realize that I need to replace a couple of words and rephrase them, right? So what you can simply do in that instance is to make use of the find and replace, right? So you can just say, let's say, look for video. Yeah? So what I'm going to do, I am going to find video, right? So I'm instructing Word to go and find the term video, and then it is going to replace it with your animation, right? So now the condition with this one is that before you replace that specific term, be sure that you are replacing the correct term. Né? Because it does, you mustn't change the entire meaning of your statement, right? So what you're then going to do is then you can just simply click on replace, right? Okay, okay. Let's say find next. Okay, so you see that it's giving me that no results found. Né? However, there is a video in the document, right? Let me just quickly have a run through here. Okay, let's say something. Okay, let's say picture. Then we replace it with image. Yeah. Then you can just click on replace. Then you see, it's still not finding that specific thing, right? So if it doesn't find, you have to open there, and then you just click on match case, right? When you click on match case, it is going to look for all the pictures that are written in your sentence case, right? So when I click on find next, no. Now this is very, very awkward. Okay, let me place this here. Okay, see, place. Okay, so I had to make sure that it is where in the beginning, right? So I don't have pictures, right? I don't have picture, but I have pictures, right? So I have to make sure that the spelling is correct also, and then I can simply click on replace, right? And then let's say if you replace all, né? So don't use this option until you are sure of whether it's the correct word, the correct terms that you want to replace. So you can rather just click on find next, just to confirm if that is the correct one that you want to replace, and then you click on replace, and then it's going to replace it, and then you can just simply find the next and so forth, right? So that is how you're simply going to be making use of your find and replace. And then there is also use of wildcards. So this use of wildcards refers to maybe, let's say you've got a statement of you're there off, né? Right? So let's say you've got you're there off, you're there after, you're therefore, and so forth. So in this instance, you want to search for terms, for those specific terms, and replace them. So you're just only going to type in the there, right? And then you put in your star, and then it is going to search for those terms, and then it is going to replace them. So in this instance, I don't have those terms over here, right? But if I had them, it was going to search for them, and then it was going to replace them. Okay, are we guys still together on that one? All right, so also moving on to the last let's say section for the day is that making use of not making use of smart lookup, but thesaurus, right? So that thesaurus, you're going to find it in the review tab, right? So the purpose of the thesaurus is to find synonyms of a specific word, right? So how are you going to make use of it? You're just simply going to select that specific term that you're looking for, right? After selecting the term, you can then go to your thesaurus, right? When you click on thesaurus, it is then going to give you other synonyms that are closely related to that specific term, right? And then when you find, let's say, that specific one that you want, you are then going to simply, let's say, okay, we'll use this one here for now. Click on that drop down arrow and then you click on insert. That is how you're going to make use of your thesaurus, right? So you just select the term, right? Select the term and then you click on thesaurus. Then it's going to look for synonyms and then you just simply click on that drop down arrow and then you click on insert if you want to make use of it, right? And then we also have your spelling and grammar checker, right? So this one is just simply going to check the spelling for you and the grammar for you in your entire document. So to make use of that, just have to click on that. Sorry, and then you click on spelling and grammar, and then it is going to go and search for your spelling, for your grammar, and so forth. So when it gets to that, it's going to give you that term, right? So as you can see that I omitted a full stop. So I can just simply click on those three, click on that term, and then it's going to give me that full stop. And then for, let's say for formalities and all of that, you click on formalities, and then it is going to give you or show you that specific term, right? That should be formal, and then which is going to be your it is. Then you probably click on it, and then it's going to replace it. And then we've got another one over here, which is going to be one, right? So if you choose not to make use of it, it's still okay. And then you're like, okay, be satisfied with data one being numerical one, you can still also move from it, right? Then you click on the next one. And then if you want to make use of it and so forth, right? So that is how you're going to make use of your spelling and grammar check. And then, yeah. That's about it. Are there any questions?
There was that previous question. I don't know if you can just recap to it.
Okay.
Yeah, that question is, which was saying, I would appreciate if there was a recap in the first step of creating the table of content.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Right. So for the first step of creating the table of content, ne? So, okay, let me just do this. Do this, open a new document. Okay, let me. Right. Okay. Right. So when creating your table of content, right? So depending on whether you want it to be in numerical values or whether you should have the first part rather in numerical values and then you have the other part in your normal values, right? So what you're simply going to do is that you have to define or you have to assign the headings. Ne? Okay, let me remove these. Okay, so I'll have, let's say, dedication page. Yeah. Okay, page break. Okay, so you'll probably have something like this. Ne? Okay, let me just insert another page break here. Section break. Yeah. All right. So what you then going to do is that the first thing that you're going to do, because you also want to include the dedication and you also want to include the abstract, right? You want to include them in the table of content. So you're going to define a new style for them, right? So to define a new style for those two, you just simply click create style, and then you can name the style, let's say pre-table of content. Okay, and then you modify the style, and then you're going to format or change the formatting. So the font is going to be Times New Roman. And then for your font size, we're going to make use of 14. Then the text should be bold and the font color should be black, right? And then you've got, yeah, it's fine. Then you click on OK, right? So you've got the what? The dedication, right? However, it is not appearing on the navigation pane, right? So that means that you now have to add a level, or you have to add a level to the text, right? So you then go to your references, and then you click on, in the table of contents group, you click on add text, and then you click on level 1, because this is going to be what's the main heading, right, for this specific page. That is going to be a dedication, right? And then you further go on to your abstract. You go to the home tab, and then you click on the table of content, and then you go back to your references, and then you click on level 1 again, right? So you'll now have your dedication and your abstract, right? So those are the two headings that you currently have. And then you're going to go to your home tab, right? So in the home tab, what you're simply going to be now doing, you are going to manage your styles, right? So when managing the styles, you're selecting which ones should show and which ones shouldn't show, right? So you open the styles dialog box launcher, and then you click on this one that is manage styles, and then you select your heading 1. So make sure that you go to the recommended, right? So you select your heading 1, you click on show, heading 2, you click on show, and heading 3, you click on show, right? So heading 1 is going to be your main heading, heading 2 is going to be your subheading, and then heading 3 is going to be your okay, so let me say main heading, the section, and then the subsection. Yeah, I think it makes sense that way. And then you click on OK, right? And then you close this one there. And then when you're done, okay, just make sure that you are on this one. Ne? And then when you're done, you click on heading 1. So this is your heading 1, it is there. You modify your heading style, right? Click on the drop-down arrow, Times New Roman, and then the size, we can make it 14 points, bold, the color should be black, right? You click on OK. That is for heading number 1. And then you go for heading number 2, do the same thing, Times New Roman, 14 points, bold, should be black. You click on OK. And then heading number 3, that is for your 1.1.3, Times New Roman, okay, 14, bold, and black, right? Then you click on OK. So you now have your heading 1, your heading 2, and your heading 3. So you formatted those, or you've modified those. Then you go and create a multi-level list, right? So you click on that drop-down arrow, and then you click on define new multi-level list, right? So the multi-level list is going to assist you in having your chapter 1, and then the following level is going to be your 1.1, and then the other level is going to be your 1.1.1, right? So make sure that it is like this, right? So you'll have your that, but normally when you first go into it for the first time, it will have your number 1, right? So you just place your cursor before the 1, and then you put in your chapter 1, right? And then on your font, you modify the font, right? 14 points and so forth. And then you click on OK, right? And then make sure that level 1, right, is linked to heading 1, right? And then you select the numbering, which is that one. And then, add a space. And then the indentation and the alignment should be at 0, né? For the first, for level 1. And then for level 2, you do the same thing. So level 2, you'll probably get it like, it will either be an A with the, it will either be an A. And then what you just have to do, you just remove that. And then you click on include level number from level 1, right? And then you put in your full stop, number style, you put in your font style, right? So it's going to be your 1.1. Make sure that it is also linked to your heading number 2, right? And then the text indentation and alignment should also be on 0, and then the number should be followed by a space. That is for number 2, right? And then for heading number 3, you also follow the same process, right? So for heading number 3, you're going to remove the letter that you're going to find there, and then you click on include level number from. So you're going to click from level 1 in order, né? Full stop, and then level 2, full stop, and then you include that number style for that level, which is number 1, right? 1.1.1. So the text indentation and the alignment indentation alignment should all be on 0, right? And then it should be linked to your heading number 3. Then you simply click on OK, right? Now, when you are done, you are then going to update your research paper, né? So I'm going to remove that 1.1. Okay, so when it gives you that chapter, right? So because you already have it, you can delete that one there. Okay, and then this one is going to be your heading number 2, right? That is going to be your 1.1. Then the background is going to be your 1.2. And then the problem statement is then also going to be your 1.3, right? Then you go to your chapter 2. Okay, you'll have your chapter 2 there. And then you remove that number, and then you have your heading number 2, and then you have the literature review, right? Which is also going to make use of heading number 2. So you'll have your heading, your main heading, subheading, and then you go to chapter 3, you do the very same thing again, right? Heading 2, then heading 2, right? So it's going to give you plus minus something like that, right? And then you're now going to work on your numbering, right? So for the numbering, the first dedication and abstract is going to be in Roman numbers. So what you're going to do is that you're going to go to the insert tab, click on page numbering, bottom of page, and then plain number, right? So we're going to make use of that one for demonstration purposes. And then we go to your first page, right? So this specific numbering, right? It should not start from 1, but it should start from 0, right? That is going to be your table of content page, right? So you just double click on it, on the number, right click on it, and then you click on format page numbers, right? So it should start on 0, right? Then you click on OK. So, and then that specific page for the table of contents should not have any number. You then click on different first page, then it's going to remove that 0. And then you're now going to work on these specific numbers, right? So what you're then going to do is that this is your dedication page. So the dedication page should not have this basic numerals, but it should have your Roman figures, right? So you then double click on the number, click on that format page numbers, and then you're going to go click on format, number format, and then make sure that it starts at 1, right? Then you click on that. So you'll have your 1 over there on your table of, on your dedication. And then you do the same thing for page number 2. Okay, so this one, it should continue from the previous section, right? Because it was still using the what? The Roman numbers. Then you click on OK, right? So we are done with those two. So now my chapter 1, chapter 2, and all of those other ones are supposed to use your basic numerals, but it should not start from number 3. So I'm then going to change this number 3, right click on it or double click on it, right? Then right click, click on format page number, right? And then this is the number format that I'm currently using, right? So I'm satisfied with that. However, I'm not satisfied with the fact that it is continuing from the previous section. So I now have to make sure that it starts from page number 1, right? So I'm going to click on start at, then put number 1. Then you click on OK. Then you will have your number 1 over there, page number 2, page number 3, and so forth. And then after that, you can then go and do your table of content, right? However, when doing your table of content, so when doing your table of content, you are not going to say dedication, full stop, then Roman letter 1, and then abstract, Roman letter 2. So you're not going to do that. So what you're going to do is that you're just simply going to put in an automatic table of content, right? So to do that, you just go to your references tab, then you click on table of content, and then you click your automatic table of content. Then you're done. Okay. Are they answered?
Yes, I think that's sorted. We have a question as well. There's a hand raised by Tandega.
Okay, can Tandega go through?
Yes, I've enabled him. You may speak.
All right, thank you. Yes, earlier on I wanted to ask about, numbering the figures in tables, and then my network, didn't behave. But I think I'm answered, and thank you very much. I just wanted to ask, in terms of listing your abbreviations, like after
Yeah.
you're done with your dissertation and you now want to list your abbreviations, same as your list of tables, list of figures, how do you go about it?
Okay, so for that one, that means at the end, ne? So is it, do you want it to start from number 1 and all of that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you then have to insert a section break, ne? Okay, so let's say I've got, okay, this one here, okay, I'll move this. So we'll say this is the end of the document, and then I insert my section break, right? And then click on next page. Right, so what I'm then going to do is that, let's say you've got your abbreviations, right? So
Okay.
these abbreviations are still going to make use of this specific style, the one that I created there, right? So, and then you go to your references, add text again, level 1, right? Then what you're then going to do is that you're going to change the page numbering. Ne? So you can go to your, so because I already inserted the page, what's this? A section break to the next page. So it is automatically going to start from page number 1. Are you answered?
Yes.
Okay.
But you see, sorry, you see on after your table of content, ne, you've got your list of table.
Yeah, the list
I
of
mean,
tables,
list of
yes.
figures. So I came across a dissertation where now they listed the abbreviations and it's like aligned properly. So I just wanted to know if maybe there is a way to do it just like when you are doing your list of figures, where it's like you don't have to type it manually, where it generates that list automatically.
The list of abbreviations.
Or you're not, it's fine, you can just you do it manually.
Wait, for the list of abbreviations, ne?
Yes, list of
Okay, so
abbreviations.
that means that you'll have to have your abbreviations, ne?
Yes.
And then let's say you have IS, ne?
ID,
let's say you have ID, ne?
Mhm.
You're then going to state your identity, right?
Yes.
Then you have your let's say
UJ.
yeah, UK, ne? And
Mhm.
you have
University of Johannesburg.
there's the University of Johannesburg, ne?
Uh-huh.
So you also wanted to have the way the table of figures, like you also wanted to appear like this.
No, not that. Like, yes, like that, but not with those dots. You know, but where I don't know if maybe the person just did it themselves like that, then it was just like aligned properly, justified properly. I thought maybe there's an automatic way to do it.
Okay, you see, the thing is, you see, if I were to see it practically, then it would have, you can have a clear understanding of how.
Okay,
okay.
you
But
can allow me to share my screen. It's right in front of me how the person, did the list of abbreviations. It's just that I don't know if you can allow me to share my screen.
Okay, let me just so is it possible that you can share his screen?
Let me see.
Okay, while we wait for him, kindly go to a figure, one of your figures, where you've got a figure.
Okay, those figures I removed them. Okay, let me go back to that one, to that document. Okay.
Yes, you said how do we go about it, like naming the figure? For
Okay,
instance,
so
if I say the location of the study.
okay, so to caption it, you just select the figure, ne? You can
Yes.
right click on it and then you click on insert caption.
All right.
Yeah. And then you'll have, let's say, okay, for this instance, it's not a table, but a figure, right?
Yes.
So you click on figure and then you can simply click on OK, and then it will have your figure 1. And then, yeah.
You can always like type in there whatever you want.
Yes, you
like
can
click
type
on
in.
the figure and then type whatever you want.
Yes. You can type in whatever you want.
Okay, same applies with when you've got your table, you just right click, then go to insert caption, then modify it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to get this one of abbreviation.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I think there was another hand by wait.
Also have a question in the chat box.
Okay, can we start off with Compion? Yeah, I think she's had her question there.
Hi,
Oh, yes,
hi
yes, yes.
class.
Hi, ma'am, how are you?
Can I just say, you are fantastic in this. My question, I don't think is appropriate for this conversation. So if there are more important questions, we can skip mine. It's just, I want to know, is there a standard thing to indicate throughout a thesis? Because UJ, we work with South African English or UK English and not the American stuff. And I have to keep on changing S's and Z's. Is there a protocol how we indicate this or not?
Oh, okay. For that one, I'm not really sure, ma'am. I don't really want to lie, but then I can just quickly find out for you, and then I'll get back to you before the
Yeah, class. If you can, great. If you can't, don't worry. I can also ask my supervisor. He's just inconsistent in his responses. I was taking a chance. I've learned so much today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It's a pleasure, ma'am. Okay. There's another one.
There's still a hand by Tandig. I don't know if I can read out the question in the chat box.
Okay, can you please read out the ones that are in the chat in the chat box so that they don't keep waiting, ne?
Okay, I see there was one by Compian. It says, what is protocol for indicating UK versus US English spelling errors? Changing the Z to the S. Must I indicate that I changed the spelling standardized, writing as standardized, spelling changed?
Oh, okay. She's the one that I just answered just now.
Yes.
Yeah, so that one I'm not really sure as to how you can go about it, ne? So you can just ask the supervisor for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's another one as well. It says, how do you change your page orientation in between a document?
All right. So to change the orientation in between the when you in your document, you just have to have your section breaks. Ne? So just have your insert your section breaks, and then you go to your layout, right? Then change it to landscape, and then okay. Right. So here, let me just do something. Okay, let's just check something here. Insert next page. Landscape. Then oh, okay. So these ones, ne? So for these two pages, it's currently on the same section. So it's going to simply change that for those ones, and then for the rest of the document, it's going to remain the same. So you just insert your section break and take it to the next page, and then you change your orientation. Okay. Is there another question?
Can I just quickly clarify what I wanted to know, how to insert those page breaks?
Okay.
Like, for example, you have a 10-page document and you want to turn one at the center to landscape, and then you want the portrait to continue after that landscape. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Can you please repeat that again?
Okay, you have a 10, like for example, you have a 10-page
Okay.
document. So you want, for example, okay, let's use your own document now. You have page on this page 2, on this chapter 2, you want to turn that first page on that chapter 2, you want to turn it to landscape. And you, after this page, you want the orientation to change back to portrait.
To portrait.
Do you understand me?
Yes,
in this
yes, I
page
get what
now,
you're saying.
you in this page that you have highlighted here now, this page is portrait, right? The
Yes,
previous
yes, this one
page is portrait, but you want to change this page of chapter 2, you want to change it into a landscape. But after this page, you want it to continue back as portrait instead of landscape.
Okay. All right, so let's just quickly insert this page break here. The next page. Let's check if I have a section break here. Okay. Layout, orientation. Okay, so what you have to do, né, is that in the previous page, né, so you're going to insert your section break, né, and the section break should be the next page section break, right? So as you can see here, and then you go to your document, right? You type in or you put your information, you insert a page break when you are done with that document, right? So it should also, a section break rather, you should also go to the next page, right? And then you can change it to, you can change your layout. Are you answered?
Yes, I just wanted to know where exactly to put the cursor to change orientation and then to insert the page break so that it doesn't continue in the other part of the document. Just where to put the
Okay,
cursor
so just
when you want to insert those breaks.
so just go to the end or the last full stop of the previous page, né? Just after
Okay.
the last full stop of the previous page, and then you insert a section break, the next page section break, né?
Okay.
Yeah. And then, is it fine?
And then when you change the orientation, you go to
And then for your orientation, you go to your layout. And then where it says orientation, you then click on portrait. And then you just insert another page break just after the last sentence. And then you say section break, next page again. Ne? And then it should be fine.
Thank you.
All right, sharp. Right. Next person.
So for Tandeka, I think she wanted to share her screen with her question. I think she wanted to demonstrate something to you, Mr. Klaus.
Okay, she can quickly share.
Yes, I have made a presenter so she can share her screen.
Okay, let me just stop sharing the side.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we may see. You can see it. Yes.
Wabon. So
okay.
this
So for
person
this
here,
one,
Obana, how yes. I don't know if there's a way if I can like achieve the same thing as hers.
okay, so in this instance, this one is simple, it's not bad. So what you just have to do next, just type out your abbreviations, right? And then you make use of tab stop. So after typing the AE, you press tab stop, ne? And then you type in electrical engineering, and then you type in your AEC, and then you type in your architecture. So after typing the AEC, tab stop, ne? You see that tab on the keyboard?
The tab on the keyboard.
Yeah, on the keyboard. So it's caps lock and then tab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you click on that tab stop, you click on that tab, it's going to align everything in the same line. And then, yeah, that one is simple. And then when you're done, you just simply sort it according to this, to your abbreviations.
Okay.
Yeah, then you are done.
So you're saying after typing AE, I click on tab.
Yeah.
Ne?
Yes.
Then
You type out the full name.
Okay. Then enter.
Yeah, and then enter, and then you're going to type in the second abbreviation, and then tab the full name
Then.
and so forth. Yeah, and then when you are done, you're just going to
Okay.
sort it out alphabetically.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. No
Right.
problem. No.
Sure.
No. Thank you.
Could you please kindly show us on your own document what you are talking about now?
All right. So what she's actually requesting, is that, let me use this document, this one. So what she's actually requesting is that you've got your abbreviations, right? So you've got this over here, So you've got ID, you've got UJ. Let me clear these. Okay. So what she's going to do, so I'm going to remove these ones over here. So she's going to type in ID, right? So immediately after ID, you click on press tab on your PC, on your keyboard, right? And then you type in your UJ, and then you press tab on your keyboard, right? So it is going to put it in the, okay, let me do this. So it's going to put it in the same line. Yeah, so it's going to put it in the same line like that. So that is what she's actually referring to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes,
there's some questions also in the chat box. So one question was like, is there a quicker and more efficient way to cross-reference text citation to the reference list?
Is there a quicker, more efficient way to cross-reference text citations to the reference list? Okay, so in that instance, what they'll have to do, I think they just have to do it the way that they used to doing it. I don't know of a quicker way.
Okay. And I see somebody's asking if you offer one-on-one sessions as well, and have seen a table inserted in a Word document with a different layout. Please demonstrate.
Okay, I've seen a different, okay, how is it in a different layout?
I'm not sure. It's Chichi. Let me just allow her to speak. Yes, you may speak, ma'am. Oh, she says she's answered.
Sorry,
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm answered. It was that demonstration that you did, but I would appreciate if you answer the two questions in person and one-on-one sessions if they are offered.
okay, so for that one, can I just communicate with the RCT unit, and then they'll just notify you people. So because I just need, there's a process that I just have to take, or a procedure rather, yeah. So I don't want to skip procedures.
Okay, we will do that.
Okay.
Okay. And there's another question here says, highlight the text under the layout page setup, that small arrow. I don't know, I think maybe it was somebody that was trying to say something when you're doing, when you're demonstrating something here.
Okay, let's see. Okay, highlight the yellow text.
And there's a question that says, are you saying abbreviations we must do manually?
Oh, okay. So this one was just advising on how to do the quick, the section breaks.
Yes, the
Instead of-
section breaks. Yes, I see that.
Yeah. So he was just giving me an alternative to that.
Yes.
Yeah. So with regards to the abbreviations, I prefer them. You can do them manually, or you can use Excel, and then you can import that information from Excel to to your Word document. And if you want to do it strictly on Word, you can just simply type them out manually. Yeah, in simple.
I hope your question is answered, Ms. Compian. Oh, she says she got it. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then I believe that, yeah, we have come to the end of the session.
Yes, I think we have come to the end of the session and would like to give thanks to all the attendees and Mr. Klaas for your hard work and efforts you put in presenting this Microsoft Word training today. And we really appreciate it so much. And we hope to work with you in the future. And as for all the attendees, I have posted a link for the feedback form in the chat box. Please fill in so that we may get feedback of the session so that we can see how useful this sessions are for us in the future as well. So thank you so much to all the attendees and to our facilitator. Really appreciate you and thank you and have a blessed day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for having me. Also, have a great day.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Presenter. We learned so much today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, ne?
Sharp, sharp. Is that say?
Yeah, Father's Day.